Hey guys, Pauline here from Zilch Beauty, and we're back with another Subtl tutorial. It is the holiday season, and I wanted to show you guys some tricks that you can use with Subtl stacks, specifically their bronzer and their highlighter, to actually help accentuate your eyes. So what's awesome about these stacks is that, of course, you can use the bronzer and highlighter on your face, but you can also use it to really help define your eye shape in your eyeshadow. So I didn't know this until I went to take makeup lessons and get certified for my makeup artistry, but everyone has a different eye shape, and depending on your eye shape, you're going to want to apply your shadow and highlight a bit differently when it comes to the eyes. So if you're interested in learning more, keep on watching. So there are lots of different eye shapes out there, and it's hard to categorize all of them, but I'm going to talk about 4 of them today that I think will help you either identify your eye shape and help you apply your eyeshadow a little bit better for whichever eye shape you are. So the first 4 that come to mind from my lessons and just from the amount of people that I have worked on are your hooded eye, you have a monolid, you have upturned or downturned eyes, and then you have deep set eyes. So I'm kind of breaking those into 4 groups, but technically they all have their own little magic tricks. But the first one that I wanted to talk about is the hooded eye. So the hooded eye is typically when you don't have a whole lot of your eyelid showing, meaning that your brow bone is actually coming down and out a little bit, so it's covering up your lid. In that case, what you want to do is try to fake that you do have some eyelid showing, and what would be lovely to use from Subtl stacks is a highlighter here. Basically, highlighter, think, always is going to pull your eye out, whereas a deeper shade with like a bronzer or a darker shadow is going to pull the eye back. So I'm using their universal highlighter here. Now, I don't have a hooded eye, but I do have a deep set eye, which is the 4th one that I mentioned here. And deep set kind of has the same issue where I have deep creases happening here because I have a strong brow bone coming out. So I really want my lid to come forward a little bit. So what I like to do is use their universal highlighter and just take a flat brush. And I like to just put this on top of my main area of my lid, not in my crease at all, because my crease is already pretty there. So what this is doing is this is bringing the frame of my eye out and toward you a little bit more to make my lid more visible and more proportional. With hooded and deep set eyes, you don't want to hide that eyelid because the brow bone is kind of overshadowing, so you really want to pull that out. So you can see, even just with that little bit of highlighter, my lids are much more visible. And you can layer with this highlighter, which is incredible, and really get as much, highlight on there as you want. Now, if you have upturned or downturned eyes, it's pretty self-explanatory. If your eyes are downturned, if you were to put a line right across your eyes, the corners of your eyes would go down a little bit, whereas if you had upturned eyes, they would point upwards a little bit. So the trick with downturned eyes is that they can sometimes come off like they're a little bit drooped. So the trick here is that you actually want to do the opposite and make them look like they're lifted a little bit more. So that's where Subtl's bronzer is going to come in handy. Again, depending on what type of lid you have, you'll want to either apply a highlighted color or maybe a deeper color if you want to kind of hide your big lids that might be out and protruding already. But you're going to want to use a bronzer and a really fine, compact type of brush here. For downturned eyes, you're going to want to lift them up. So what I like to do is follow the line of your bottom lash and just start to define a line upwards. So again, this is for a downturned eye that you want to focus upwards. Now, if you have an upturned eye, you're not necessarily going to want to focus it down, but you're just going to want to get the focus to be more straight than they are up. So instead of bringing that bronzer up for downturn like this, you'd actually want to bring it out in a more straight way like that. So obviously I have a couple different things going on here, but you'd want to bring your defined corner out straight for upturned eyes and up for a downturned eye. And then the last group here is a mono lid, which means that basically your lid is not showing at all. Your eyelashes are up so high and your brow bone is down so low that the lid itself doesn't really get any attention. So again, for that type of eye, I would recommend doing a pretty intense highlight. Adding even more highlight onto something like what I already did, again, is going to really try to bring out that eyelid as much as it can, even though it looks like it might not be there. So really focusing on the middle to outer area for a monolid eye is gonna be your best bet. And again, utilizing a deeper bronzer or a deeper eyeshadow color to really help create the definition of a crease that might not be there. So for me, I do have a bit of a crease here, but on a monolid, you can't really see the crease. So what you wanna do is fake that crease shape a little bit higher on a monolid than where an actual crease might be. So again, what you're doing with the makeup is you're kind of tricking the light or the camera or whoever's looking at you to create angles and shadows and effects that aren't there. So I'm gonna finish out my eye. Again, I have a deep set eye, so I really wanted to put my highlighter on to bring my lids out and center. And now I'm just gonna kind of try and fix what I just did into my eye shape. I always like this trick in general, but just to pull your bronzer down a little bit underneath the bottom part of your eye really just helps give some definition. I like to pull it in about halfway to maybe like 3/4 of the way. And of course, blending is key for any outside shade that you want to apply, meaning a deeper shade mostly. And then I'm gonna top it off with some mascara because that is what you gotta do to complete an eye look. A final trick here is to really pull your mascara outward, kind of like straight along the lash to really bring your lashes out. And again, this is really just gonna open up your eyes. To me, I think all eye shapes can benefit from this. So you kind of want to go out and then up. Okay, so there you have it. Try and identify your eye shape and try out these tricks. Would love to hear what you think about using Subtl's highlighter and bronzer to best define your eye shape this holiday season. Happy holidays, everybody.